Elaine, that was amazing footage. To see your first treatment that you actually couldn't sit for longer than 3 to 5 minutes, and now you're moving side to side. So in your own words, how has life been for you then?
It's been so improved, it really has. Denis has taught me I have not been engaging muscles. Something as simple as if you sit and your lower back does start hurting you, just squeeze your glutes. I mean, just little things like that. It's amazing the little things that can really make a big difference. With that 5th treatment, it was actually a twist. It was, and at the end of it, I twisted as far as I could, both directions, and Denis had asked me how long it had been since I could do that. Literally, I mean, decades.
Right.
I hadn't been able to do that. Whenever I would twist to any side, especially if I twisted to the left side, there was just such pain that would actually shoot up my back.
Okay.
And I was just shocked that I could do that.
Yeah. And how have you been feeling in the morning now?
Well, in the morning, I wake up with 0 pain.
Oh.
And and it's funny because when I went through the Skype treatments with Denis, he would say, well, towards the end, he said, well, what did you wake up to? What was your pain when you woke up? And finally I had to tell him, well, it had to have been a 0 because it didn't register in my mind.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't wake up, oh my God, can I get out of bed? Can I move my legs? I mean, I just got up, let the dog out, did whatever, and then I would think, hey, I'm moving. I mean, it really is amazing. I'm really surprised.
Wow. Now, Denis, was this actually what you expected with Elaine and all of her ailments that she had?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, you have to understand. I mean, when we picked Elaine, I mean, she read us she sent us a huge letter, we interviewed her, went through the selection process. Here's a woman that hadn't been able to do any activity and had literally a very, very, very sequestered quality of life. And we knew right away that it was strictly muscular. What people don't realize is that the legs are the stilts for the upper body. And if the legs aren't working correctly and cannot absorb force, well then the upper body, the top of the house, collapses.
Right.
And so most back problems don't come from the back. They end up in the back, but they don't come from the back. They usually come from the legs, or what we call the iliopsoas. So in Elaine's situation, all we did is start building the ability of those muscles to absorb force. When she could absorb force, that force didn't get to her back. It stayed in her muscles where it's supposed to be.
Sure.
And she hadn't been able to do a sit-up for how long?
Oh my God. I mean, literally 20
Decades.
years. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
decades.
Okay.
So, on our 10th treatment, I guarantee you she'll be doing sit-ups.
Wow. That is amazing. Well, I want to back up a little bit with Elaine, and you've gone through your, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th treatment. And so your quality of life has improved a lot on that land of, you just stated to wake up in a 0, I'd be like, woohoo, just celebrating every, moment that I'm not in pain anymore. And so that just must have been huge for you.
Well, it was huge, and I know my friends think I'm nuts because if we go somewhere, I'll be sitting and after about 10 minutes of riding around in the car, I'll say, "Did you notice I haven't squirmed?" Because literally every 2 to 3 minutes, whether I'd be sitting at my desk at work, in the chair of my desk at work, or riding in a car, I would be adjusting my body because of the pain, and I can really sit, and I'm just surprised. Whenever I mention it to my friends, I actually get teary-eyed. It's been so long since I've been able to do that, and I know people think it's no big deal, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal if you can't stand for more than 3 minutes at a time.
Right.
So then you sit. So then you can't sit. So then you have to stand again, and it's just a vicious cycle. I walked my dog today for like 45 minutes, and I think she went into shock. But I mean, seriously, I would get about, literally, and I'm not exaggerating, 100 feet walking with my dog, and I'd have to stop and just bend down, just sort of crouch down and sort of stretch my back a little to be able to get up and continue the next 100 feet. And Denis had taught me that really what you need to do is that when you do bend forward like that, what you're stretching, you're not stretching muscles, you're stretching tendons and ligaments, so it's not the best thing to do after all. So a lot of little things like that I've picked up. And even the old, from number one, even the old keep your feet straight, it's sort of like retraining your brain to feel or to know what something should feel like, because for so long it hasn't been right.
So Dennis, how many other people are like in Elaine's situation that, you know, have this issue that's going on?
Well, it's probably the number one condition in all of soft tissue medicine is lower back conditions. And everybody treats the lower back, so it continues to be a problem.
Sure.
Not the lower back. It's wherever we have pain, that's where the problem ended, not where it's coming from. And if the listeners just grasp that one single piece of information out of this whole series, it can be a godsend for them, because then they understand that they don't have to live in pain.
Right.
You were told you had to live in pain for the rest of your life. Just take medication and get rid of it, right?
Right, and I was also told to keep my muscles from tightening up, spasming, whatever, that, you know, they could put a spine down the center of my back.
Yeah, a rod. Now that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
And my comment to them was, well, if you put a rod down the center of my back, my muscles will still hurt. And the answer was, yes, but your spine will be straight, because I have 3 curves in my spine. And I just thought that was not the best route to take, so I didn't.
Well, you're smart.
Yeah.
You're smart. But there's a lot of people out there that have done that. They've had spinal fusion. They've had Harrington rods put in their back. If you just look at it logically, what is the function of the muscle? It's to stabilize the spine. So if the muscle isn't stabilizing the spine, why on earth would you put something else in to stabilize the spine and not pay attention to what's supposed to be doing it? Because the minute you put that rod in, you're telling the muscle, stop working.
Right.
Now the next step up is the next set of vertebrae, and the next step up is the next set of vertebrae. So if you start down here, you're going to end up here with rods up and down your back, because you've told your muscles to go on vacation.
Right.
The muscles are the problem, not the spine.
Wow. Well, we're fortunate enough that this is going to be your 10th treatment right here at the studio.
I'm ready.
So this is going to be amazing in itself. So we'll go ahead and proceed with that as well, Dennis.
All right, so what I'm going to do right now is, so coming out of bed this morning, what level of pain were you?
I was a 0.
A 0. Outstanding. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to get the ARP here. We'll move Elaine's water. And we're going to we're in a re-education mode. So this right here will be her final treatment.
Okay.
And it will be single-handedly the most graphic. And what I mean by that is that she will be able to do things that she has not been able to do for quite some period of time.
Okay.
As I said earlier, we'll have her be able to do sit-ups, and we're going to have her be able to do that here right on stage.
Wow.
So put this one, Elaine, right on the right side.
Oh, you do it.
Good, right there. Pull that up just a little bit. Hold that in. And we'll do this one on this side. And this is the iliopsoas and the obliques that we're actually stimulating right now.
Okay.
Put that down like that. Okay, and Elaine will just have you sit down, and I'm going to steal this little rascal over here. And as I turn this up.
Don't make me scream. Now, for
Come on, Elaine.
For all of you out in
had to
viewer
talk.
land, it's not pain, but it's just so intense.
And there's a reason, as we discussed. The greater the sensation, the greater the stimulus, the greater the change. You cannot change a pattern unless you stimulate above the stimulus that causes the pattern.
Okay.
If you only stay in a comfort zone,
right here.
you will never, ever, ever break that pattern. That is one of the key components of what we do. So we consistently raise the threshold of what you can tolerate to allow you to tolerate it when the threshold is not challenged by this type of system. Okay, now on a scale of 1 to 10, intensity-wise, what do you feel on your sides right now?
It went down. It's about a 2.
Okay.
2 now.
All right. So tell me when we get back up.
You're back up, brother.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let's have you go. Twist.
I go opposite way this time.
Good. Perfect.